This lesson is solved by elementary row operation. We have two equations with two variables. First equation, second equation, first variable, second variable. We're going to rewrite these equations into augment form. This is called an augment form. So 2, 4, -4 is in this first row. 2, 4, -4. One more time. This equations is rewritten in 2, 4, -4. This is row 1. Next, 5, 7, 11 in row 2. 5, 7, 11. One more time. 2, 4, -4, row 1. 5, 7, 11, row 2. Our objective is to turn this form into this form down here. One more time. Change this form into this form where I have 1, 0, and then 1, 0 over here. Then I know I am done. One more time. Change this form into this form. Then you are completely done. So the only way to change this 2 into a 1 is to multiply 1 over 2. Where did this come from? 2 times a half will gives me 1. So that's where this 1 over 2 come from. One more time. To get this 2 into a 1, you need to multiply 1 over 2. Now, for future lesson, we will write 1 over 2 times everything in row 1. So scale or multiply row 1. So 1 over 2 times row 1, okay? So 1 over 2 times 2 gives me 1. 1 over 2 times 4 gives me 2. -4 times 1 over 2 gives me -2. So that's where this first row becomes this row by multiplying 1 over 2. Again, we want to get this 2 into a 1, so we have to multiply 1 over 2. 1 over 2 times 2 gives me 1. 1 over 2 times 4 gives me 2. 1 over 2 times -4 gives me -2. Next, we want to change this 5 into a 0. So the only way to make this 5 into a 0 is the opposite of +5. So that's what I wrote over here. Multiply everything in row 1 by -5 and add to row 2. Again, for future lessons, we will write -5 times everything in row 1 plus row 2. One more time. We need this 5 into a 0. So the only way to get this 5 into a 0 is multiply by -5. So -5 times 1 is -5. -5 plus 5 gives me 0. 2 times -5 is -10. Plus 7 gives me -3. -2 times -5 gives me +10. 10 plus 11 gives me 21. Okay? So next, rewrite this row down here. And we want to change this into a 1. So -3, we want to change it into a +1. Again, we want -3 into +1. So the only way to get that +1 is multiply by a negative. But to get a 1, we have to multiply by -1/3. One more time. To change this -3 into a 1, we will use -1/3. So, and this is how we write -1/3 times everything in row 2. Okay, so -1/3, -1/3 times -3 gives me positive, and then 3 times 1/3 gives me this 1. -1/3 times 21 will gives me -7. Okay. And then next, we want this spot right here becomes a 0. So to get this spot becomes 0, we need to multiply the opposite of it, which is -2. So multiply row 2 by -2 and add to row 1. And this is how we write row 1 plus times -2 R2. Okay, so -2 times -2 times 1 gives me -2. -2 plus 2 gives me 0. -2 times -7 gives me positive 14. 14 subtract 2 gives me 12. Once we have 1, 0, and then 1, 0, then we are done. One more time. Once we have 1, 0, 0, 1, then we are done. We are completely done. So we change this form in the beginning down to here. 1, 0, 0, 1, then we are done. These two numbers are our solutions, 12 and -7. So x1 is 12, x2 gives me -7. One more time, we want to change this form into this form where I have 1, 0, 0, 1, then we are completely done. These two numbers over here are our answer, positive 12, -7. And we can write it in this format, x1, x2 equal 12, -7.